Hey everyone, welcome to another video of Flight Simulator 2020. In today's video, I'll be doing what I did previously, like on Cessna 152 videos, in terms of the ILS videos, but this time we're going to do it on the Airbus A320neo, which stands for Next Engine Option. Just for you guys to know, I'm using the default A320. I'm well aware about the fly-by-wire mod for A320. I think it was called A32nx, if I'm not mistaken. So I've not really tried that out yet, but possibly do in the future. I just gotta read up on it with the forums and such. But anyways, we'll just start off by I'll give you a quick brief on how this approach will be conducted at. So right now I selected the Jacksonville International Airport, that's JAX, and we'll be using runway 14 ILS, or localizer runway 14, that is. When you're closed in towards the airport, you'll make sure you brief with your co-pilot or whoever's pilot monitoring on what's happening, make him become familiar and aware of what's happening. So we're just going to brief it real quick. So the ILS local or localized runway 14 for Jacksonville International is 110.5. That's the frequency. Or approach course is 137 degrees. The runway length is 7,701. Touchdown zone elevation is 27. The airport elevation is 29. And then we have the notes for DMA from Craig Vortec for inoperative Mauser. That's the length system. Increase straight and localizer category A and B. Visibility to 1 mile. Clear fixed minimums for inop Mauser. Increase the straight and localizer 1-4, all categories, visibility to 1 mile. Helicopter visibility reduction below 3/4 detrimentals are not applicable. Of course, I tell you we have the Mauser lighting system, and our missed approach procedure instructions will be climb to 3,000, direct to Craig Vortec and hold, which is right around there. And of course, we have our frequencies, or D8, that's the weather frequency, JAX approach, those are the, once again, the people that guide, that take you in and out of the airport, ground control, clearance delivery, and so forth. Now we're gonna scroll down. I'm gonna scroll down, and then here we have so we're doing a straight in ILS 227 ILS 14. We're doing a straight in ILS 14. Our decision altitude or height is 227, and half-mile visibility. We'll do we're gonna pass by Ortar at 2,000 feet. That's the published altitude you must maintain until you're crossing over that waypoint, and then you can descend to 1,700 to Sonia, the auto marker. That's the final approach fix. And once you are past either Sonia, the final approach fix, or have a glide slope indication, or the glide slope becomes alive, you can start descending down to 227, decision altitude or height, and from there on out. So right now, I'm just gonna, let's see. The Airbus is very technologically advanced, well, for J pilots like myself that transition from let's see, steam gauges and such to automated flight controls from PFD, NDs and such. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of equipment, which makes things more easier to control. Less workload, since there's a minimum of 2 crew members on this aircraft. That's a must, of course. It just makes things easier overall. Generally makes things easier. So, anyways, we're like 9.2 miles from order. That's Jacksonville International right there. So you're gonna notice that on the graph, oh, not excuse me, not the graph, navigation display, there's a green line that leads to the waypoints order and Sonia. That's basically what the computer is following, because we set the navigation data to nav, which means the aircraft will follow whatever it is. Right now I'm just gonna activate quickly and confirm the approach. And right now we're just going to activate the approach phase because we want to make sure we're slowing down, preparing for the approach, which will decelerate the green dot. Unfortunately, this aircraft doesn't do that. So we're going to put in our QNH temperature, winds, conditions, and then also our destination altitude or height. Let's see. I wonder if maybe we'll go down the green dot. Oh no, it doesn't. It just goes down wherever the purple triangle is. Yeah, it goes down to the managed speed triangle. So right now, I'm around like 5 miles from order. I'm just gonna set flaps 1, which is right now. And then once another mile, I'll put in flaps 2, and then gear down, 3rd mile. 4th mile, flaps 3, then the final mile is our final flaps, or our last flaps, or well, that was my mistake, flaps 2. At 3 miles we'll put our gear down. So as you can see, the aircraft's flying itself, it's already on autopilot 1, and it's just following the course, and it's going to start making that curve towards order. So at 3 miles gear down, we're just going to arm the spoilers. Let me see, this considered armed? Oh, now it's armed. There we go. Alright. So we're looking good, looking good. So yeah. So we're on 2 miles, flaps 3. You can also notice from here on the upper part of the cam screen. And then there goes our final flap setting for full configuration. It started right now. 1 mile, and we're gonna put her down. Flaps full. Now, of course, the pilot monitor will be doing all those flaps, extension, all that. It's not the pilot flying, because that'll be a high workload if you ask me. That's why there's, they said that there's only a minimum of 2 crew members to help each other out. Alright, so our managed speed is around 145, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we're good. We make sure we checked everything. So, our waypoint orders we're trying to get to, we have to maintain through 2000 until we cross over it. I'm just gonna configure everything. We're gonna use auto brake low. Set the ILS button, because we're doing ILS, so you're gonna press the ILS button only for that, nothing else. Okay. So I guess just to get you guys familiar. Right now, what we're trying to wait for is the localizer, and then a glide slope indication. The localizer it's gonna be in the bottom part of the PFD. It'll have a pink diamond, a pink indication that tells you that's the localizer coming alive laterally, and then for the glide slope, it's gonna be a pink diamond. That's the vertical up and down motion of it. But we're still a little bit too early. We're not even established yet on either one. So once we're on the course of, if I'm not mistaken, 137 approach course, we're pretty much straight in for the runway, which is why we're trying to establish the order or TAR. So yeah, right there I just set the let's see, the switch knob to the LS rose arc, because on this line right here, that's your localizer, which will pretty much, it'll move eventually once we're getting close to our approach course, and the aircraft will turn towards the approach course of 137. And by the time we have the localizer established, we're good to go. All that's left is to wait for the glide slope to give an indication, and from there, once the glide slope is right center next to the 2,000 foot indicator. It'll follow its way down to decision altitude.
Airbus A320, you are 17 miles northwest of Jacksonville. Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact
Okay, right now I will not
118
maintain this
decimal 3.
altitude. No, excuse me, heading. I'll make my turn
Maintain
towards
present
order.
heading and altitude. Tower
Because
on
the AC
118
still
decimal
wonky in
3,
this game.
Airbus A320.
Or similar, excuse me.
Jacksonville Tower, Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, 17 miles northwest inbound ILS runway 14 approach. Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320, Jacksonville Tower. Cleared ILS runway 14 approach. Altimeter 30.02, wind 036.
And the reason why I'm making the turn because it was about to clear me anyway, so I'd rather
Cleared ILS
do it
runway
early first
14
too late.
approach Airbus 320.
So because he cleared us, we're about to press the approach button. And there we go. You're gonna see a glide slope, localizer blue, color coded wording. That means it's armed, but it's not active. Now eventually, once we're on the localizer, the word the word lock will shift upwards, meaning that we're already established in localizer. It should say lock star though. I don't think the Microsoft default A320 is accurate much. It should. So like I said, once we're close to localizer, it should say lock star. Means we're on the localizer. It's already established. It's going to turn towards approach course 1 through 7 and maintain the lateral guidance. And also, just to give you a quick heads up, once the glide slope's alive and the aircraft follows it downwards, we set our missed approach altitude of 3,000 feet. That gives us an early start in case we don't really make the runway, and we have to do the missed approach procedure. Okay, we're just waiting for localizer should say log star, but it's okay. Just pretend it says log star. It's gonna follow the localizer all the way. And a better way to think about it, if you have a log star, you're a rock star. It means you're doing something good. And that's a easy way to remember it. Oh, there we go. You see the localizer diamond, the lateral pink diamond localizer is alive, so now we're going to follow it. So let's lock star, that's going to turn to lock right there, which it is already, hypothetically. But once again, the Airbus default version of it's not accurate much. Alright, all that's left is just the glide slope, pink diamond, and we should be good to go. The aircraft will follow it down. So right there, the runways is in sight, but I'm sure pretending to see that. But that gives you the idea that we're established in a localizer, and we're just going to have to wait for the glide slope to guide us downwards. I'm just going to keep it 2,000, and the glide slope will eventually come downwards on us. And you know, I want you guys to watch how the aircraft follows it all the way down. I mean, the first time I actually did this approach, it kind of, I was in awe, because it just felt unreal that the aircraft would just follow all the way down, because I'm used to the manual part of flying, which is a steam gauge and zero automation autopilot. I mean 152 and the Piper Seneca when I did my multi, it had autopilot, but it wasn't working. It was disabled, so everything in my training was manual. So right now we have, as you can see, the pink diamond, the vertical one, or vertical part of the. You see the vertical pink diamond is already coming downwards. That's your glide slope right there. So we're already closing in on Sonia by a few miles. And then want you to guys observe, once the pink diamond crosses the yellow line right here, it's going to start following down, or it's going to descend with it. See, watch this. Boop. Glide slope. I think it's a glide slope star, and then glide slope. Okay, right now, since we're following the glide slope pink diamond, we're going to set our wet missed approach altitude in case we don't make the runway. There we're
Airbus 320 cleared to land runway 14. Wind 036 at 8. Cleared to land runway 14 Airbus 320.
It's a good thing Microsoft created an option for the co-pilot to take all the comms, because I really can't be doing everything all at once. Because that just increases workload. That's not very helpful now, is it? So as you can see, the aircraft is following down, all the way down. And around 227 feet, that's our decision altitude height. That's what we decide, do we have the airport in sight? Not the airport, the runway in sight. If not, we discontinue the landing and go missed from there, do the MAP, missed approach procedure. And if we have the runway in sight, we continue the approach from there. About disable autopilot by a few feet to see how well this aircraft responds to my not yoke but joystick input. In the Airbus it's called side stick, but right now I'm flying a joystick, Hotas X, something like that, Thrustmaster, which is alright. I could use better, but that's just for time being. When I first did my training on that type-rated 320. Alright, so we're good. We're at 600 feet. See, the computer's telling you how many feet. That's the radio altimeter telling you where you are in terms of the ground elevation.
500.
See, that's the radio altimeter right there telling you where you are in terms of the altitude once again. So right about now I'm going to disable the autopilot.
300.
Right there. In the real Airbus, you just click that red button that's on the side stick just twice. Well, first time to disconnect the autopilot, then second time to turn off the alarm or the chiming sound.
100.
Around 20, I'm going to pull back the thrust,
60, 50,
try to land it.
30,
I don't know why this aircraft
20,
is floating, which is not true.
recon,
Actually, how it is in reality. So we're on the ground. We're gonna
5,
pull it back, thrust reverse. We're gonna use a reverse thrust. So reverse spool is on. Reverse green decel. We're decelerating around 70 knots. We're gonna put it back to idle reverse thrust. Right there. We're good. Alright, so our next taxi.
Airbus 320, turn next taxiway.
Left. We're gonna clean this aircraft up, flap zero and everything. Put our APU on once we're on taxiway. I mean, it wasn't really a good landing. I'll be frank with you guys. It's just it fell up normal. Because usually when you're about to flare, you just let the you pitch the aircraft accordingly and let the aircraft, you know, let the aircraft wheels touch the ground. But the Airbus A320, the
Going to
Microsoft
121.9
aircraft,
Airbus 320.
it kept floating, so I really had to force it to go down, which is not good. That's not how it works in reality. But it's just a simulator. I mean, it tries to mimic what reality is, but and they did their best. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do better with future updates and such. So yeah, this is how you do an ILS using the A320neo. So hopefully you found this informative, helpful, and please disregard the landing. Hopefully you found this very helpful, informative. If you like future Airbus videos, I'll be glad to add it to the series, because I already have that in mind. Probably do like VORs, localizers, and what am I missing? RNAVs as well. and maybe RMPs, but I'm not really familiar with that. I have to look into that, quite frankly. But anyways, hopefully you liked everything. If you like what you see, then consider liking, and if you're not a current subscriber, then please consider subscribing for more future videos, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.